All right, guys, welcome to week 7. Let's first go over a couple of week 6 issues real quick. Really just one. It was a pretty simple, straightforward assignment, I think. But the only real problem I saw was when folks were importing the video via the custom player into their main Swift file. And as the client, in a lot of the comments I made to you, when I was opening your file, I wasn't seeing the video playing. And that is obviously a problem. I put an announcement. I'm hoping somebody has answered it by now. So the issue is actually rather important. That's why I'm making a rather big deal out of it. When you do projects in the future, interactive projects that have video or audio or other assets connected to your main files, you're going to run into a lot of problems relative to your paths, the paths you have to separate assets. This is a big deal in a lot of different projects, so I really wanted to stop a moment here and deal with it. And just to give you a heads up, here, for example, is my video project, okay? It's a little bit of a mock-up, and here is my projects panel, and here you see the source of my video asset, okay? This is something that a lot of you, you will see something similar if you look at the source field for your projects. Now, what's wrong with this field when you're going to be giving it to a third party? The problem is the location of this asset, promo video, is very relative to it's connected to an exact place absolutely on your computer, right? So you can very well imagine that the person you're sending these to will not have a folder named Devon Vale on their computer. So what you need this to look like, essentially, is you need this to be a relative link and not an absolute link. You need it to look like that. In this way, you're telling the computer, this linked file, is in the same folder as the main Swift file, so that there will be no issues no matter whose computer they're playing this on. If it's in the same folder as the Swift file, it will find the asset and play it. So we're talking about the difference between relative to the main file here and absolute paths. And that is something that all of us developers have struggled with, making sure that the assets are being found and they're in the right location. Okay, now that we've covered that, that's the main issue we saw in week 6. In week 7, it's a pretty straightforward week. And what I think is exciting about this week is that it's our first real look at code. And what I just want to encourage folks is not to get frightened or frustrated. The thing about code is you cannot make any mistakes. It's not very forgiving. So when you see code like this, often you're going to be able to copy and paste it. At times you will have to write it, but when things aren't working, it's really a question of very conscientiously going back through the code and looking if you've made a mistake. If you capitalize something, if you didn't capitalize something here, for example, in time display, if that D were lowercase, this would throw an error. So this is the way code works. It's not very human in the sense that it demands, it can't figure out what you're thinking. It needs things to be absolutely correct. The nice thing is if you do get it right, it will work. So I just encourage you to have a lot of patience this first week, even though this first week is mostly graphic design related. You will be delving into a little bit of code, and we'll be getting a lot more into that area in the weeks to come. So I hope you enjoy it, and happy coding.